Hello, friends. Where are you? I hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday. And I wonder, what did you do today? For you who are new to us, well, I am in Charlotte, North Carolina. I would like to know where you are. Also, for you who don't know me, I'm a single foster dad and adopted dad, and I love truly journeying with you so I can show you the things I've learned along the way. And today I have update that I wanted to share with you. As you know, you're my village, so I always like to give you the update of what my life is and how it's going on and all the above. Having six kids, there's always so much going on. But truly excited to have you guys today. I wonder, where are you and what are you doing? It's been really nice here, really, really sunny. As you can see, this is outside, you know, so it's threatening to rain anytime soon. But it's beautiful outside. The kids have been outside playing, and finally, I got to sit with you guys here and enjoy the moment. I'm in my bedroom, and the kids are outside there. I'll go, I'll go. You go meet them later, but I thought I can chat with you before I go anywhere. So, guys, where are you? My mysterious headline, Peter. Yes, how are you? How are you doing? And where are you? Yep. Let's see. Oh, watching from from Colorado. Yes, I was in Colorado last week. It was beautiful. It was really nice. Yes, I was in Erie, Loveland, and Fort Collins. Yep, Georgia. Rose in Georgia. Oh, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Breath in simple, Ontario, Canada, Millennia, Iowa, Amy, uh, Bellingham, Washington. Wow, you're everywhere. It's always a joy to reach out with you. Wait, Nicole, you're where? In Quito. I have been in Quito maybe four times. I love that city. It's like one of the craziest city I have ever been. It's like a ball. It's like there are mountains here and there are mountains here. And when I came, you still had the old airport. So it was like landing in the middle of the city. And I wasn't sure if we land, if we're gonna touch a house, and if we don't stop, if we're gonna run into the house. That is Quito for you, But beautiful, beautiful place. I mean, the mountains and the hills are absolutely beautiful. Maxine in Tampa, Florida. Gail in Texas. What a joy to, to have you guys. Peter, I am upstate New York. Ooh, I've been there. It's beautiful. Really love it there. Amber, yeah, I'm in upstate New York. That's really cool. John from Southwest Missouri. Missouri, where was I? Missouri. Guys, I get to travel, so I get to be in one of the cities. You know what I would like to do next time? To let you know where I am so I can take you for coffee. Seriously. So I can take you for coffee. For example, if you are in Awasa in Indiana, I'll be there next week. Maybe we can go for coffee. See? And if you are in where? Virginia, somewhere. Maybe this Sunday or Saturday, I can take you for coffee. See, I come to your cities, and I'm afraid sometimes I don't tell you, but this time I want to let you know so we can have a coffee. Absolutely. Hawassa in Indiana. If that's where you live, I'd like to take you for coffee. And Virginia on Saturday and Sunday, if you're there, I would like to take you. Rumbling Rose in Scotland. Oh, wow. Desire in Minnesota. Wow. Diane in where? Uganda. I know it's Washington. I could be lying, but Washington. Kathy in Charleston, my neighbor, right next door. Wow, that's really cool. Ashley in Guam Islands. That's really cool. I have not been there, but I would like to be there. So anyway, what a joy to be there on a Sunday, and what a beautiful day to truly be with you. I always want to give you update and give you what's going on in my life, especially being a foster dad. We get kids who come and go, and then we have those who stay. The last time I talked to you, we were getting a new little one. So as a foster dad, we get kids. And when we get kids, they come and go. Okay, my kids are yelling. Just hold on a second. Yes, the dogs were barking. So I was like, something's going on wrong. When you have kids, something's always going on. So anyway, as you know, as a foster dad, life goes, and I mean, it goes on 150 miles an hour. We get kids, they come and go, and we have those that stay. So the last time I chatted with you, we were having Jacob, or Jacob was arriving. So it's been really, really, really wonderful that I wanted to give you an update of what life is and how things are and where things are going. As a foster parent, they never tell you how long we'll have a child, but you always know the history as things go. You always know, okay, where is he coming from? Are parents involved in his life? Why was he moved? So you get to know those details as time goes on. So it's truly been a joy to have him with us, and we love him. He's a really smart kid and an awesome kid, I can tell you. He's settled in and blended with my kids. It's like they've been together for the last, I don't know, 10 years, especially with Luke, since they're the same age and they're both boys. So they love it and they're having fun. He's in fourth grade, the same as my daughter, and they go to the same school. So it's been really wonderful to see them settle down, but also to see them welcome him in our lives, and also to take him as a sibling. And it's really been a joy to really get to know him and let him settle in. So on that note, we are truly, truly, truly grateful. So as I was saying, as a foster parent, I get to know the reasons why he was moved. But also as foster parents, sometimes we get to have kids in three different ways. Temporarily, meaning only 24 hours or only the weekend. Or semi-permanent, that means like for a few weeks, a month or two. Or permanent. Permanent meaning that they will be with you, but we don't know where. We don't know when, how, but they are permanent with you. So I would like to give you an update that Jacob is with us permanently, meaning that he has nowhere else to go. And the reasons why he was moved, there's no any other way, or there's no any other place for him to go. Only our home. And we're truly joyful and grateful that we get to provide him a home, which is really cool. But at the same time, he's 10 and he's been in foster care for about, since he was, I think, 5 or 6. He's been in more than 5 homes. And so we don't want that to keep happening. As you know, guys, like I do my best to make sure that kids are not moving from home to home, that I always want to make sure that I provide for them a home. And if they're not able to go back home, I want to be their final forever home. So with him, we know there's no any other way. And usually when we say there's no any other way, that means the parental rights have been terminated, meaning there are no parents in the child's life when there's no any other way to go. So with the little one, we know there's no any other way to go but to have him in our lives. We want to make it permanent, but that would depend on the social workers and the county where he comes from. But for us, we open our home to make sure that he does not have to move ever again. And if that possible, we want to make sure that is the best experience that we can give him. So as a foster parent, that's kind of how things go. You say yes, and then overnight you realize, like, wait a minute, this kid has nowhere else to go. That means if we take him in, we got to be their final and permanent home. So that is kind of where things seem to be looking or going, but we are really excited. But at the same time, just sad for him that he has to be moved from place to place, and we are like number 6 home he's been in. Think about, how do you trust, when you go to a home and they say, we can adopt you, and then 6 months later, they're like, no, we changed our mind. And then you go to the next home and they say, well, you've been here for a year and a half. I think we're going to adopt you. And then towards the end, they change their mind. That is foster care for you, that our kids, when they come into foster care, their well-being, their future is kind of determinant on their parents having them back, or on the mercies of the foster parents, depending how they feel or what they want. And I can tell you, as a foster parent, there are some good foster parents and there are some bad foster parents. And I'll be honest, like, there's some that should not be foster parent. It is a hard journey. It is hard, but sometimes there's selfish needs that come in that we as a parent, we begin to think for ourselves, but we forget the needs of the child, and in foster care, it is common there, Or I'll also be honest and say 40% of our kids in the foster care who have already been abused or coming from a hard place sometimes are abused by the same foster families they go to. So it's a hard place sometimes to know what kids go to. They come for safety, but even that safety sometimes is not there, So for me as a foster parent, it's a joy that I get to share with you, but I get to journey with you and educate you the journeys of foster care. Seriously, every child I've got, I have never been told that, hey, this child is coming, but they'll be with you for 6 months. Oh, this child is coming, they'll be with you for 5 months. They always say, Peter, we need a home tonight. Would you be willing to open up a home for this little girl or this little boy or these siblings for the weekend? And as soon as the weekend shows up, that's when you get to know, like, oh, actually, they need more than just the weekend. And that's kind of how we become foster parents. I have had 45 kids, no, 46 as of today. You may wonder, where the others go? Some go back home to their parents, or some to kinship, or some are in transition of adoption. So usually I take in for emergency, meaning they need a place as soon as possible. And usually when I have an extra bedroom, I say yes. So for this little one, we said yes because we thought they needed a short term. But now we know they will need a longer time. So that means that since he's been in foster care for more than 3 years, that means this kid needs to be adopted as soon as possible, either by me taking him in or for the next family. Like there's no any other way, that he has to be adopted in order to have a stable family and a stable home. And as I said, for me, I signed up that for every kid that I have, so long as I can maintain and be there for this child and meet the needs of the child, I always want to be the final home for this kid. So that's kind of what we're looking into right now. Permanent placement, meaning he'll be with us for a long, long time. So there are two ways the child can stay in foster care for a long time. One, be adopted. If they're adopted, then they have their forever family. Number two, that we get to be their legal guardian. Legal guardian means that I am their legal guardian, but somehow they're technically still under the state. That means I can have this kid once he's 14, 15. The mama can come and say, you know what? Hey, I want my kid back. Or the state can decide to say, you know what? We don't want you to have this kid anymore. So we're going to move the child. That's what we call legal parents, meaning legally, I'm just a custodian in some way. So those are the two ways the child gets to stay in foster care as long as they can. Or sometimes they stay as foster kids until they turn 18. Then at 18, either they age out or they stay as long as they are doing something. So those are ways on how foster care works. Like there's no formula. Some people come to me and say, like, I want to adopt children, but I would like to be a foster parent. I'm like, that is the wrong way to start. Remember, I got to adopt my number 11. So that means number 1 to number 10 went back home or went to kinship. So if I wanted to adopt, that would have been a really tough one. But as I've told you, for me, I want to be a foster parent to make sure that kids go back to their mom and dad or their kinship. And if that's not possible, I want to be their final home. So that's why we discourage people who want to adopt, like, hey, do not be a foster parent to adopt, because you're gonna fall in love with a child and they're gonna go back home or to kinship. But when you sign up as a foster parent, it's a little easier because hey, I signed up to be a foster dad for this child with the intention that this kid will go back to mom and dad or to kinship. And so when they go, you prepare them to go. They will go. The same with our little one. We've had Bella for what, 3 years now almost. But he has two options. She has two options with us: to go back home or to be adopted. Those are the two options we have. So how the state works is that they go concurrently. So the first one is the child must go back home. When time passes, then they bring in the adoption. Hey, we want the child to go back home, but if they don't go back home, then adoption. Then if they try the parents and the parents are not doing anything, then adoption comes first. This child is going to be adopted until the parents make it or prove to us that they want to have their child back. But if they don't, that means it goes this way. That means they lose the parental rights. That's when they cut off the parental rights and then adoption. So for little Bella, that's why, most people asking me, are you going to adopt her? Like, I don't know, because right now it's either go back home or be adopted. And once things don't go, one goes down, one goes up. And that's kind of how it goes concurrently. Adoption and going home. Adoption and going home. And that's the dance that we get to dance every day as foster parents. Yes. You might say, for how long? Seriously. There are some foster parents who have kids who have been with them for 5 years and still they have not decided where this child should go. Adoption or go back home. Think about 5 years. For the child, it's like living in a limbo. Absolutely. But that is the journey of being a foster parent. So it is a hard journey, I can tell you. It's a journey I would say you gotta be prepared, but also really tough because as a foster parent, like I have zero power or zero say in what happens to the child. Isn't that crazy? You know, that I know the child and 100%. I take care of the child 99.999 of the time. But when it comes to the decision about the child, I have no say. That is foster care. And that's the journey that we admit that we follow. It's crazy, but that's what it is. But for now, I just wanted to give you a heads up. So when you see Jacob, you're like, when is he going back home? Well, he's not going back home. We are his home for now and permanently. Permanent meaning for a long time. That long time, I don't know. You might ask me, well, if he's available for adoption, would you adopt him? Absolutely, yes. And that's why we said yes for permanency or for long permanent placement. Just in case he doesn't have a home, we want to be his final home. So that's kind of really how foster care works. It's crazy, yes? Crazy, crazy. But that's foster care for you. So now I'm going to read some of your comments because I did not read them because I was talking. Is there an age limit to adoption? No, there's no age. They can be 26 and you can still adopt them. So there's no age limit. Age limit as to age limit parent adoption. Yeah, it's up to the parents and also the child. So remember, when a kid is 13, they have a say in adoption. So if they say, I don't want to be adopted, they cannot be forced to be adopted. But if they are younger, they can't have no say. So that's kind of how it works. So it's up to the child, especially when they're teenagers, to decide to say, I want to be adopted. And if there's someone to adopt them, yes, they can be adopted even at 30. Yeah, I wonder if Jacob is going to be placed on the adoption path due to his age. Yes, Nicole, yes, you're right. Because he's been in foster care for more than 4 years and he's 10. And as I've told you, when you're in foster care and you're 5, you're considered as unadoptable, meaning the chances of you being adopted are becoming small and small and small. So yes, he is due for adoption as in his case. I pray I could be his forever. Yes, me too. I want to be his forever family for sure. He's adorable and cool. Little Beta is so bonded to you, even if unification is possible for her, it would be traumatic for you. Yes, for Bella, absolutely, it would be traumatic because it's only she's known all these years. So to go back to another family that she barely knows, yeah, that's gonna be traumatic. But the good thing with her is her her 2 other siblings are my kids. So that means we will always be in her life because I have the siblings or the biological siblings, which is really cool. So if she goes home, that'll be a blessing, but also we'll always be connected. If not, we're open to anything. That's what foster care is for you. Yes. Will you be telling Jacob that he will be with you permanently? Yes, because he's 10 and he understands. And remember, he's been in more than for 5 homes. So he's kind of known to move from one place to the other. So he needs to mentally know that this is his forever family. But here's the problem: every home he's gone to, everyone has told him that, you know. So it takes a while for most of our foster kids to believe that, really, am I going to stay here for forever? That takes a while. I'll share with you. I know I can be personal with you. I'll share with you right now the difficulty of why he doubts he could stay with us. Every time he sees a social worker, he's worried that they are taking him away. That's kind of his experience. Every social work he's had, they've been there to take him away, either from his mom or from other foster parents, you know? So for now, the joy of having a social worker is not fun at all, you know? Why? Because triggers, because he's little, you know. But it is wise to tell him like, hey, this is your permanent home, you know. Uh, and that's the way they get to know. You know, the other day he asked me like, you know, I know it might not be okay, but is that okay if I can call you my dad? Oh, I cried. I cried for hours. I'm not kidding. Say, can I call you dad? I was like, absolutely. You can call me whatever you want, you know. And that's kind of the journey of foster care. Do you wonderful? Oh, thank you, Bert. Thank you. Would be so nice to be able to adopt Jacob and Bella. Well, if it was my call, yes, but it's not my call. For Jacob, it can be my call because I already know that he's available for adoption. So for Jacob, we can say yes, and that's why we're taking him permanently. If adoption is a option, yes, we'd love to adopt him for sure. This poor kid just breaks my heart. Absolutely breaks my heart as well. You know, it is really hard to watch. It's really hard to see and really difficult. Yeah, let me call Zay. Hey Zay, Zay. Yeah, you know I'm gonna call Zay. Close the door and come out because he's going through the same experience. So hey, I'm sitting here. So I was telling our people, our village, you know, like on how you get to be yeah on how you get to be in a family, and then you're told over and over like, hey, this is your home that you think is permanent, and then they're like, oh no, you're moving, you know.
Yeah.
So how did it feel?
So my first home like that was actually my third foster home. So my first one, hi everyone. My first one wasn't really permanent. It was when I first got put into foster care. I spent the night at at a foster DSS placement place, and then in the morning they took us to this foster home, and then I got to be able to stay with my sisters, and we stayed there for like maybe a couple months, but it went horrible. They almost had their license revoked, but and then I got put to a second home, and that one also didn't go well. They realized that my sisters would act up when I'm around, so they had to take me away from my sisters. And then I got put in my third home, which was Miss Phoebe's home, and that part I was with for like 3 to 4 years. And I thought I was every time that I would talk to a social worker, that I would talk to the foster parent, it was like I was staying there. I was going to be there until I'm 18, and then she was going to let me stay there until I able to afford my own apartment to let me go. And that was, and I really liked it there. I had friends, I had family, I was chilling. And then I got put, and then they literally told me, you're leaving tomorrow. And I'm just like, what? And they said, yes, you're going to be gone the next day. Pack your stuff. You're leaving. And I'm like, what do you like? I can't wrap my hand around what's happening. Like, what's going on? And they're like, we found you a home. We're going to come pick you up tomorrow. You are leaving. Pack your stuff. And then they told me there. And then I was like, continue asking questions. Like, who am I with? They're like, you'll find out. You're lucky you're getting, you're lucky we're letting you know for the day. Usually we tell kids right away and then you leave. But for that 4 years that I was there, I was always told that like I was family, that I would be able to stay there and all. Yeah. And then they moved me to Peter's, and me and Peter, we didn't really hit it off at first. He tried.
Well, that's what I'm telling them. That's what I'm kind of telling him. Like, when you've been in a home and everyone tells you you're permanent and they move you to go to another home, like, why should you trust? Like,
yeah, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, like, why should you be there? Why should you trust? And that's what I was telling them. Like, for Jacob, we are like number five.
Yeah.
Like to tell him like, hey, this is your permanent home. Yeah, he might say yes, but he's been moved so many times. Like, nah, I'll believe it when I see
You're
it.
right. Like, you can move me. Go ahead. Like it's gonna happen. And I'm so used to just being flip flop from place to place. Like it's just like okay, whatever happens.
Right, and that's every foster child. Like literally, no warning. No. They just say, hey, you're gonna go because it's the state that makes a decision. And when the foster parent that have you says tonight, like, I don't want the child tonight, they will come and pick you up.
I was actually very lucky. Before I went with Miss Phoebe, my social worker sat down with me. Me and my social worker were like this. She would like this. She would always take me out to eat. We would always talk. Like, and she sat me down and she's like, "Hey, so we're about to move you. I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want to be with a single parent or with a couple?" And that's the only information I got. And I was lucky to get that because most foster kids can't even get an option.
No.
So then I chose a single parent, and that was the only time I ever got to know even remotely about who I'm going to, is if they're single or not single. That's about it. That's right. All I get. I don't get to know if it's a boy, a female, their age, where they work, type of nothing.
Nothing. Yes, absolutely. And so when Zay came to us, I was like, hey, I need to give you a phone so you can talk. He's like, no, I don't want your phone. No, I'm not having your phone.
I'm so used to people giving me stuff, and then like when I leave them, take it away. So at this point, I didn't want nothing from Peter because my Miss Phoebe's, when I got given something, she could just take it. Even if I bought it, no matter what, she can just take it. So in my head, Peter getting me stuff was like, okay, so if I leave it, it doesn't matter. He's just gonna take it anyway.
Yeah. So why take it?
Why do I want it? Right.
Absolutely. So that's kind of really. I mean, I'm glad that I get to have Zed to tell you his experience. But that's true for every foster kid. Literally, that is true for foster kid. Yes, he's 10. But he believes the same thing. Every other family told me so. So I don't know. Permanent. What does permanent mean?
Right.
The other part that Zay told you, he was separated from his sisters. So yes, he told you he acted up, but most of the time he was protecting his sisters. Like, no, you're not gonna mess up my sister. I'm gonna be there for them. But the foster parents complained, and they had to separate them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of the foster parents I had, other than Miss Phoebe and Peter, the others I had were not that good of parents. Like, for example, the reason why my first foster home, their license almost got taken away was because they were locking my baby sister in the bathroom with the lights off as a punishment.
Wow.
My second home, they would hold my sister down, and they said, since her words exactly, since I can't whoop her, can you put your hands on her? It's literally what they asked me, and it broke my heart because I'm like, why am I going to hit my sister? But that's literally what they asked me to do.
Yes. So, I mean, it's really sad. I was telling them like 40% of kids who come in foster care are abused by foster families.
Yep.
Which is really true, So about your sisters. So your sisters got adopted, but no one told you.
One got adopted, one got sent with their dad.
So, but they never told you. Well, they promised you that you stay in contact. But once they went,
no contact. I didn't get so both my sisters got that guy I got on foster care with. One of them was a closed adoption, and one of them was one of them they went back with their dad. Well, my sister went back with her dad. After when they got separated, I got told I could talk to whenever. They'll give me the numbers. I could FaceTime, I can call, whatever. But as soon as she went back with her dad, no contact. And as soon as my one sister got adopted, couldn't talk to her anymore at all. Like nothing.
Yeah. So we tell you that, that's why for me, the joy of keeping siblings together, you separate them, that really breaks their heart. And I'm sure you had a difficult really even fitting anywhere, not knowing where your sisters are or how they're feeling,
When I got to Peter, after I could trust him a little bit more, I opened up with both my sisters and everything. And yeah, that was definitely one really hard part about foster care was getting separated from them.
Yes, yeah, which is really hard, and that's just the norm, And I can tell you, yes, it's true. Jacob has siblings, young ones that he's separated from. So you can imagine, like, you grew up, you're taken away with your sisters, and you protect them. I mean, you being the oldest, you're like their mom and their dad. And then all of a sudden, like, no, you can't stay with them,
For my first foster home, I didn't really understand the rules that much, but it was a thunderstorm. My sisters were like 5. They were like young, and usually during thunderstorms or anything like that, they would come to me, and we would like sit on the couch, lay in the bed, whatever. But they would be with me during thunderstorms. It was thunderstorming one time. I think it was like after 8 9 p.m. And my sisters were crying for me to come in there with them, but they foster parents said no. Like they didn't let my sisters come with me, or we couldn't be together at that moment because it was bedtime, and I couldn't be in the same room as them while they're sleeping.
Oh, but you knew their needs, like you
Hmm.
knew how they act, you knew how they. I mean, that is really sad, and that's foster for you. You know that when they take siblings away, and that really destroyed his life in some way, not knowing where are my sister and how are they doing. And the worst part is the promise. Like they said, hey, we can adopt your sister, but we promise you stay in touch. To this day, zero,
None.
none. And that's really the journey of foster care. So guys, I love to share with you just to show you what foster care is. It is amazing. I can tell you it is the most amazing job to do, but also the hardest. But also it's not a calling for everyone. Like I can totally say, it's not a calling for everybody. And also to know that, yeah, I have fellow foster parents who shouldn't be foster parents, because of what our kids go through. So it is a journey. So most of you who ask me, I want to be a foster parent, it's not to scare you, but to prepare you to know, hey, is this something you want to do? Is this a calling? And if it's not a calling, I can promise you won't last long, because it is that hard. But also too, it's hard because you get to know the pain of what the kids are coming from. Like
Mhm.
I know every child I have, I know what they're coming from. And knowing that I have no power and there's nothing I can do, but just to truly parent the one I have. That is the irony, also the heart of being forced parent. So I just wanted to give them a heads up. I wanted to give them an update about Jacob, that he's staying with us, and maybe for good. That we
Mhm.
don't know, but he has nowhere else to go.
I
That we,
like Jacob. He's a cool kid.
he's a
He's
kid.
really smart kid.
Yeah, super smart and thoughtful. And
Hmm.
very, very thoughtful. So we love him. So we'll keep you updated. But for now, he's with us permanently, and
Hopefully.
hopefully. But we truly want to we want to be his last home if he
Hmm.
cannot go back home. So yeah, it's really a joy. And it's hard for him because he cannot see his sisters, and that's been really tough. But he's a good kid, a really good
A
kid.
really good
A
kid.
really cool, yes. So anyway, we wanted to give you just an update. We are sending you love. We love you so much, and we are grateful. And thank you for always being there for us. You're truly our village, and we are grateful for each one. So have a happy Sunday. We're going to cook dinner right now. It's 6:30, so I'm gonna feed my kids. But what a joy to truly be with you as well. Next week, I'll bring my little one so you can talk to them. I know you miss them, so I'll bring them so you can chat with them. All right, blessings.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night. It was good to see you. We love you. Bye.